Hey nature lovers, it's Kayla, and welcome to Nature Will Nurture. So today we're going to talk about native plants. My other strong love of plants is for native plants. And I wanted to kind of use this platform to be able to share my experience because there's a lot of learning experience when it comes to native plants, just like there is with houseplants. But there's a lot of information online about houseplants, especially these days. And I feel like a lot of the learning I've had to do when it came to native plants came from books. And so, a book I picked out today because I would really like to learn more about the relationship between insects and native plants, and utilizing the seeds that I have already. What kind of inspired this and reminded me it was seed starting season was my Prairie Moon catalog came in the mail. So I am getting my information about insect relationships with the seeds I currently have from Prairie Moon's website. Now Prairie Moon is based out of Minnesota, so in terms of seed collecting, they're probably more close to our region than somewhere else, and I'll talk about that shortly. I have some seeds from a place called Strictly Medicinal, and they're based out of Oregon. So if I'm going to use those seeds, I don't really know where that batch came from. I might be able to call them and ask them, but I don't know for sure. The reason for that, why you want to get seeds somewhat close to your region, is flowers grown in your region bloom at a certain time. And it might sync up with the exact time that those bees or those butterflies need to have that nectar or pollen. So, or a certain period of the growth of the plant in order to eat the plant. It depends, So it's better to get seeds from a more local place, just to keep that in mind. And by the way, I'm located in Michigan in case you're new here. So my resources, I'm getting information from Prairie Moon's website. I had to double check certain things. But the other place I'm getting, which also inspired me to do this video, is this book, Pollinators of Native Plants. Now this is regional specific. I found this book, or at least the author had their home from a book at the library. I don't know if it was this book exactly, or maybe I came across her other book, also very similar, and then found this one and liked this one, felt this one had more in it, and so I purchased this. I will link that below. So I'm getting information from this. This is a fantastic book because it also has pictures of the insects, so it'll show you the plant, where it's from, the habitat, bloom. I mean, there's so much information here. If it's a larval host for butterflies or moths, if it has a specialist bee with it. I mean, it has so much information, but it doesn't have every plant because there's a lot of plants and there's a lot of insects. So it's not, 100% everything, but it's pretty darn good. And so I already went ahead and wrote down the information that I was looking for so that I don't have to go flipping through the book as I go. And although I don't really have the space to start a lot of seeds, especially different types of seeds, and I don't have a whole lot of a handle of an understanding of what the yard is like, I didn't want to just jump into purchasing some seeds. So I figured I'd just use what I've had left over since, it was 2 winters ago now that I first purchased my first set of seeds. So I'm not entirely sure of what my yield will look like. We'll see. And I'll bring you along on the journey. I'll set up a little area in my plant room for seed starting, and we'll see what happens. I have a vague memory of what germinated most easily, meaning it didn't need cold stratification. What stratification means is it has to go through like a winter cycle. stratification means it has to go through a cold cycle. So you tend to keep it in a moist substrate or like soil. They recommend like vermiculite, moistened sand, things like that to keep the seeds moist. And you stick them in your fridge for a certain amount of time, and then you plant them or you start the seeds. And so that's going to be my goal for what I can do. And I already did some research on what needs what, but I'm just going to go over what seeds I'm going to use today and what insects I might expect to see further down the line. Now, the way I want this to relate to you guys, me being a renter in this house, I don't feel 100% comfortable planting and starting a lot of seeds and then planting them and then only having to move. I had to do that in my last place and I lost a lot of plants because of that. So what I've decided to do in this place, and to sort of hopefully relate to you guys out there, is that I'm gonna try native plant container gardening, and we'll see how that goes. I have to work out some thoughts I might have, but we'll see as we go along how they work out, what might not have worked and what did work. Of course, that's further down the line. So yeah, let's get started. This might be in 2 parts because of the length and because I might be taking a long time to talk. But yeah, I should be releasing them at the same time just for you. So we're going to start with what I have to cold stratify first. In doing my research on the length of time, I've decided this coming weekend, January 27th or so, is when I will begin the cold stratification length of time for 60 days. So I went through what seeds I have. There's a couple I wish I could have started, but they require much more stratification, or they need cycles between cold and warm, cold and warm. And so unfortunately, I'm not going to be starting those because I need to plan ahead better. I've tried them in the past and I just didn't have any luck. None whatsoever. So yeah, it's something I have to prepare for. and I might share those with you at some point. So the first plant is I have is Evening Primrose, or Oenthera biensis. A lot of these seeds might be kind of old at this point, and we'll see what happens. I don't even remember where these seeds came from. But according to Prairie Moon's website, they are a larval host for the primrose moth, but they feed butterflies, bees, and birds. I believe it said they were deer resistant as well. I won't go into specifics about what the plants are. If you would like to see information like that, feel free to comment down below and let me know that you would like to see a video more about the types of plants specifically. And so there's that. So these have to stay in the fridge for 60 days. So I'm going to be starting these this weekend. The next one I have is Columbine. Now I have grown this one from seed before, and I didn't have the greatest success, but man, it is just it's such a pretty plant. Probably one of my favorites. And that's Equiligia canadensis. I'm going to be butchering these names because I don't normally say them out loud. But Columbine, wild Columbine or Canada Columbine. It's so pretty. Now it is a larval host for Columbine dust-winged butterfly, Columbine borer moth, and sweat bees visit it a lot. But it's also just a really cool plant. And the next one I have is Boneset, and this is Eupatorium Perfoliatum. I have a little bit more practice with certain plants because of a Master Gardener project I was working on last year. 2019, I wasn't able to do it this past year. But this is a tall plant, and if I can find better pictures of it from my own collection, I will, preferably. Boneset has a lot going on. It's a clymene moth, for the larval host, a clymene moth, a 3-lined flower moth, a boneset borer moth as well. And then it's visited by yellow-faced bees, mining bees, sweat bees, bumblebees, green sweat bees, assassin bugs, wasps, soldier beetles. So I believe that's a really good beneficial insect. Technid and syrphid flies, moths, and butterflies. And I don't even go into specifics because this book lists a lot of information. So anytime I have a long list of insects, it's either that it's a really great powerhouse of a plant, like the Eupatorium, the Boneset. There's a lot of information in this book. So when I say that in long form, that's what that is. And then I have hairy Beardtongue, which I had a decent amount of success on when I started it from seed last time. And I didn't even really stratify last time, if I recall. But it's probably, since the seeds are now a couple years old, it's probably better if I do some stratifying. And that's Penstemon hirstus. Hirstus, I'm going to say that. I do enjoy growing that one. It also has really cool bellflower shaped flowers. And that one was not in the book, so this information I got off of Prairie Moon. So Penstemon hirstus is the larval host of the Calicadan checker spot, the Baltimore checker spot, and Edith's checker spot. And it is also visited by birds, bees, and butterflies. So yeah, if you enjoyed this, please like and subscribe. Feel free to comment down below. And also follow me on Instagram at NatureWillNurture. And thank you for watching. Have a good one.